Hey guys, this is Joseph Lucero with Powerlifting Technique, and today what we're going to talk about is should powerlifters wear a lifting belt? Now, there is a short and simple answer, but you're not going to get that quite yet. You're going to have to take on some of the information that's going to come on in this video because we're going to talk about what is a lifting belt, how does it work for powerlifting, does it help? Does it not help? What is it supposed to do for me? And by the end of the video, you'll realize if you should or should not wear a lifting belt if you're a powerlifter. So when it comes to the lifting belt, I have this lifting belt. What's cool enough is that I've had this lifting belt since I was 17. It was given to me as a gift. And I'll tell you what, it's gone through it for sure. It's just a basic single prong lifting belt. One of the hardest things about this thing is whenever you put it on, you'll see it right here. When you put it on, if you get stuck, it's really hard to get off. But that kind of comes with the nostalgia of the lifting belt. But in the video, like I mentioned, we're going to talk about what are the benefits, how does it work, what's the purpose, and if you should be wearing a lifting belt, especially if you're a powerlifter. So I'm just going to put this on the floor. I'll probably refer back to it in a little bit. But with the lifting belt, it all comes back to this concept in lifting and strength training. And it's this intra-abdominal pressure that we want to have whenever we perform our strength movements. More particularly for a powerlifter, it would be on the deadlift and the squat. We need to find a way to build pressure in our midsection to keep an upright posture. And basically what I'm defining is this idea of bracing. So the intra-abdominal strength of our movements, we call that bracing. What that essentially means is how do we keep ourselves in an upright position by building a lot of pressure in our abdomen so that our spine doesn't want to flex under pressure. When lifters lift, they want to be in an upright position. Now, is it possible to stay in an upright position? Not necessarily, especially if you have a weight on your back or if the weight's in front of you, your spine wants to flex. But the more it flexes, the more likely an injury the more of a higher chance an injury can occur. So we got to figure out how do we allow ourselves to stay upright under those heavy loads. And the whole idea is called bracing. So whenever I'm about to attempt like a heavy squat or a heavy deadlift, I'm going to take a deep breath through my abdomen. And if you want to kind of check yourself right now, when you want to brace correctly, you can kind of put your hands around your midsection and then take a deep breath. And you should be feeling your midsection expand. A lot of people like to breathe through their shoulders when they start, but that gives you no abdominal pressure for bracing, and it puts you at a disadvantage to be a strong lifter. Now, what does bracing and all this have to do with the lifting belt? Well, here's the idea. When you wear a belt, so I'll put this on right now, and then you breathe against this belt, what happens is because the belt is tight and confined, when you breathe out or breathe in and expand your midsection against this immovable force, you're creating so much tension in your body that it makes that part of the spine stay rigid so that it doesn't want to flex under pressure. Now, sometimes people will still round their shoulders and things like that, but one of the more delicate parts of our anatomy, the midsection, which corresponds to the thoracic spine or the lumbar spine, the lower spine, if we can keep those upright, then we're in a much better position to be more successful with our lifts. And that's all it boils down to. Lifting is very much math savvy, so the more you appreciate certain angles and positions in lifting, the more stronger you'll become because you appreciate those positions. And the whole idea behind wearing the belt, it keeps you upright, so you're in a stronger position to maintain better posture and use less wasted muscles in certain situations when your anatomy starts to flex with the spine. So the question that comes up for the whole basis of the video is, should you wear a lifting belt if you're a powerlifter? Now, here's my answer. Yes, but you shouldn't abuse the belt all the time. Because here's why. When you brace without the belt, it's not as strong as when you wear the belt. Like I have a client of mine and we talk about the belt using the lifting belt. And it took him a while to kind of get on board. And then he finally invested in a good belt. They can range 60, 80, 100, 150 bucks if it's like more of a powerlifting focused belt. But once he finally invested in one, his lifts got so much easier. But I talked to him about it and I said, only use the belt when you're going for heavy effort lifting. So the idea is if you always wear your belt and you depend on that belt, you're never challenging your core, your abdomen, your low back. You're not challenging your core muscles enough. So because of that, they might get weakened if you abuse the lifting belt. So for me, I like it to be at the point where, if we're starting to work set to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, etc., I say put the belt on because the percentages are increasing. Because the volume's decreasing, the intensity is increasing. When that happens, we want to put the lifting belt on to make sure we're safe for effective movement. So should powerlifters use a lifting belt? Yes. but not all the time. I would say when it comes to their competition lifts to squat, bench, deadlift, use the belt when you're lifting at 5 reps or lower, because the intensity has increased and we want to increase that abdominal pressure so we're stronger, more upright, and have better posture for better mechanics. Anything above 5 reps, so like 6 reps, 7 reps, 8 reps, maybe go beltless, just so you have to challenge yourself to maintain posture. And although you're wasting energy having to coordinate that aspect of your performance, that is going to aid you in the long run when you're trying to build up your strength. Now, some people with their back down sets, meaning a little bit more of an explosive sub-maximal load, you could wear the belt just because you're simulating competition standards. But for the most part, like I mentioned, don't build up that dependability on the belt. Still challenge yourself somewhat. And I would keep it just to the compounds. And that would be probably your best bet if you're a powerlifter who's trying to invest in a lifting belt or not. So ultimately, the whole idea behind the lifting belt, it increases intra-abdominal pressure to be stronger, to be more upright, to be in a better position to showcase your strength. But don't depend on it too much, because if you do that, you're not challenging your core enough, and then that can actually weaken you in the long run. So all in all, I do think a lifting belt is smart. Just use it wisely. So make sure you subscribe, like the video, leave a comment below. Tell us about your thoughts and how you use a belt and things like that. Because in the comment section, we want to justify your means, give you some ideas, and then sometimes your comments become the next video that we do anyway. So again, my name is Lucero. Check us out at powerliftingtechnique.com, and I'll check you in the next video.